Hi, Kimberly. We're gonna make challah today. Oh, second challah fail. Oh no. Thanks for joining, guys. There's a couple, maybe you guys can share with your followers since I don't Periscope very much. I haven't been getting too many followers. I don't do it very often anymore, but I thought I would do some challah making, and I might as well record it because people are always asking me what I use for my challah recipes. So I just realized I don't have the actual mixing implement in my mixer, so I'll grab that. I appreciate you guys joining on. I am Allie with essentiallyallie.com, and I am going to show you guys how I make my favorite challah recipe that I have been using for about a year now. We do not do gluten or wheat in our house, so this has been the recipe that works best for us. Sorry guys, I realized I was missing a tool that we definitely need for mixing. So I don't know about you guys if you're gluten-free or not, or wheat-free, but for us, we do really well with rice. So rice is actually one of the products that we substitute. Sorry, there's light coming in behind me here. So I am actually just putting my mixing implement, which is necessary if you're going to use your mixer apparently. And I'm going to show you my favorite recipe. I will be posting this on my website on essentiallyallie.com. So hopefully you will get to watch it later. So I'm going to follow my handy notes here. But I use 2 cups of rice flour, which I already poured in. You can find rice flour just about anywhere. And I do use white rice flour instead of brown rice. It just is a little bit easier digested for us. So that is what I'm using as the base. And then I'm going to use 1/4 of a cup of just local honey that I have here. I'm going to turn this so maybe you can see my mixer or not. Sorry, coordinating with this little phone is difficult. So I'm going to put 1/4 of a cup of raw local honey here. And then I'm going to add xanthan gum. So I use 3 teaspoons of xanthan gum, and I'll get the rest of the honey out of there. I hate to waste honey because it's so delicious. So let's see here. 3 teaspoons of xanthan gum, and I just keep mine in a little jar like this just to keep it fresher if I have enough space for jars like this. And a pinch of salt. It calls for 1/2 of a teaspoon of salt. And here's my sea salt right here. So use 1/2 teaspoon of salt, just kind of eyeballing that. And then I'm gonna add yeast to it. So what I've done is I've put just active dry yeast in here. This calls for 1.5 tablespoons of yeast, and I'm gonna put a cup of water, of warm water in there. Make sure that's right here. Yeah. Okay, so I'm gonna put a cup of water in this yeast here. Hopefully I didn't pick too small of a bowl. That's looking a little iffy. There, I'm actually gonna transfer that into the mixing. We'll do a little transfer. Okay, so yeast and water, and then it also calls for some honey into the yeast mixture. So typically these recipes call for sugar, and I've made this with honey several times now. I've noticed that I really don't need sugar at all. It does really well with honey without any processed sugar. So that's what we use. And let's see here. And let's see, honey, 2/3 a cup of water, and the yeast, and I might have gotten a little bit extra water, and some butter. So I've already melted some, hey Alex. I've melted 4 tablespoons of butter with, I used apple cider vinegar in here as well, for 1 teaspoon of apple cider vinegar and butter, and then a cup of water. And then I just realized I need to borrow this. This is the rest of my flour. So I used tapioca flour and rice flour is the base for this recipe. And I'm gonna put 1 cup of water into my melted butter and apple cider vinegar mixture here. So I've already melted the butter so that you guys wouldn't have to wait on Periscope, because I know the patience level on Periscope. Okay, so now I'm gonna put all the dry ingredients are already in here. I'm just gonna stir that slowly with my mixer, which you can see here. From Russia, awesome, welcome. I have some family from Russia. They've been in the US for a while now. So I'm pouring slowly the butter and apple cider vinegar water mixture into the dry mix. And then I'm gonna check on my yeast here. It needs a little stir. Thanks for joining, guys. I am making challah, which is bread that traditionally Jews eat on Friday nights. It does not have to be Jewish though, but it's an egg-based bread. It's a sweet bread. So I'm sweetening it with honey instead of sweetening it with sugar. Thanks, Alex. Okay, so now I need to put in 4 eggs. I'm super, super lucky that I get eggs from a rancher here locally. And the rancher's name is Hudspeth. It's awesome eggs. So I'm gonna crack quickly 4 eggs into my mixture, because eggs are kind of a critical ingredient in challah. This is really an easy recipe. The only thing that's not awesome about making a wheat-free challah is that you cannot braid it. So traditionally challah is braided, and you cannot braid a wheat-free challah. However, I have a challah mold, a silicone challah mold, which I will post, and you can put it into that instead. So, got 4 eggs, we've got our yeast mixture going, and I'm going to add in, I've got the butter mixture in there already. Hello. And I didn't see what your name was there, so you feel free to ask questions so I can see your name again. So I'm mixing this up here. And then I'm going to add into the rest of the mixture this warm yeast mixture. It's a little bit loud, so I'm gonna do that when I hang up with you, because I don't want you guys to be frustrated with all the noise. So I'm gonna add in the yeast honey water mixture, and I will mix it on high in my big stand mixer here. And then possibly you could use a hand mixer. For sure you could use a hand mixer. I'm just lazy. I have a stand mixer, so I think that was Kimberly there. Yes, you could definitely use a hand mixer. So what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna whip this all on high, and I'm not going to do that on the phone with you because my name is Allie, and my website is essentially Allie, ALLY.com. So I'm gonna mix it all in the stand mixer, and then I'm gonna cover it with a towel and stick it in the oven just on low at like 150 degrees. Hi, Arslan. So then what I have here is 2 silicone molds. I need to get a larger one of these. This is a silicone challah mold that makes it look braided. So I think you would need some kind of a mixer for sure. I don't think you could do this by hand. It would be pretty hard. And so I'm gonna butter these with real butter, because I love real butter. And then I'm gonna put it into these molds, and I'm gonna bake it at 400 degrees for about an hour. I've made this recipe quite a few times now, and it's turned out great every time. I can tell you that this loaf pan has never made it all the way through a dinner. Pretty much every single time it's completely gone with just 4 of us in our family. So it's a hit, and I hope you guys will enjoy it as well. Do you guys have any other questions about ingredients or what we used, or why a loaf pan, etc.? All right, well, I hope everyone has a great Shabbat if you're celebrating Shabbat. If not, this is just a delicious bread recipe that anyone can eat and enjoy, and it's one of our favorites. So I hope you guys have a great Friday. Enjoy. Oh, a drop of cinnamon oil. You could totally add a drop of cinnamon essential oil. Definitely therapeutic grade cinnamon for sure. You don't want to use over the counter for sure. So I thank you all for joining. Hopefully you guys will watch it on the replay at Essentially Allie is my handle, and Essentially Allie, A-L-L-Y, is my website. Enjoy.